Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the BSGL. Today we will be recapping all of what we have seen through this season so far. We are through our first full month. We got through the end of October and all of November. So we will be recapping all that has happened so far. Like 6 weeks of highlights, I think? Yeah, 6 weeks of highlights. So we're going to start by looking at the All-Star voting up to this point. As you can see, we're going to start in the front court in the West. Brian Williams is receiving the most votes actually in the whole league, as he is the captain right now for the West. Behind him is Ivan Heinsohn. He's having a nice start to his season, obviously. Then DeAndre Johnson, Denzel Spears, Wade Cage, Cy Gilbert, and Ashton Dandridge, which is definitely the big surprise here. He's one of 2 players that were not created by me. It was just on the roster that I downloaded, but he is in 7th for the front court in the West for the All-Star voting, and he is not above 90 overall. Everybody else here is, except for Lamar Outlaw, who is right there at 5th in the backcourt for the West. But Lamar Shelton, Kevin Ball, Lou Fung, Quentin Pope, and of course Lamar Outlaw, who we just mentioned, make up the backcourt for the West. Up to this point, Shelton and Outlaw. I actually don't even know who Dandridge plays for, but Shelton and Outlaw are the only 2 that I can see that are on the same team, obviously, because the rest only have 1 player above 90 per team. But I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting to see if Outlaw will stay in that position or if he'll get booted off by somebody with more votes. But as to this point, he would make the All-Star team. As going over to the East, we have Doug White, who is in 1st. He's receiving the 2nd most votes in the whole league here. As he will be the captain right now for the East. Then Hayden Oakley behind him, and Achille Antonov, all centers. Then Reggie George and Akabanu Shang, another center, and then Foster, who is the lone power forward, and Alan Smith round out the front court for the East. Looking at the back court, it is 4 point guards and 1 lone shooting guard in Chuck Armstrong. We have Parker Puff, Mason Boyd there at 2, Chuck, Will Trust, and then Evan Stone, who we just saw in his debut at number 5. That was a quick look at the All-Star race, as we will check in that after the next month of play. Moving into the season awards, we already saw all these. We've been going over these week by week. Antonov and DeAndre Johnson are the only 2 with more than 1. We're going to go ahead and look at Player of the Month for the month of November, as Antonov and Johnson both win that as well. They both won 2 different weeks worth of November, so it just makes sense that they would win Player of the Month as well. Our Rookie of the Month is basically just the best player that is not created by me, because none of the rest were actually rookies. Or none of the rest were, all the rest were all considered rookies since this is our inaugural season or whatever. But Trent Beretta and Rich Mack both win Rookie of the Month for their respective conferences. Moving now into scouting. I realized I did not get much into scouting and in the intro video, but the way we're going to do scouting is, if you want to submit a prospect, I'm going to create a little bit of a draft class, nowhere near the whole 100 that you can put in, but I'm going to create probably about 15 to 20 guys. None of them will be crazy good. We'll keep them all pretty well below 80. That way we can actually watch them develop in the league. But if you want to submit a prospect, do that down below. Put in, give me a name, obviously height, weight, what kind of hair color, ethnicity, all that good stuff, and then what kind of player you want them to be, obviously in position, all that stuff. Just obviously the more detail you leave in, the more you can fill in yourself, and I won't have to just guess. Moving into standings and power rankings, we are going to look at league standings first. As we look at the East, I don't even think we can look at divisional standings anymore. We're looking at the East. The Boston Hilltoppers still sit at the top. They were even after going 0-2 in their latest week of play. The Indianapolis Shift sit right behind them, 4-2. Charlotte Cougars. The Cobras still only with 1 loss, but they just haven't played as many games as the rest of these teams. The Legends sitting at 4-3. Behind them, Flamingos and Polos at 4-4. A couple more teams that are right there at 500. Then we go to the below 500 teams. We have the Detroit Titans, the Bulldogs, the Huskies, the Skyliners, and the awful, I don't know why they're so bad, but the 1-6 Wolfpack. As maybe it's time for a change already in some of these teams. We're going to start from the bottom in the West, as the Arizona Blaze, the San Antonio Brigade, and the Oakland Town Hawks who have not won a game since the opening week of highlights, are all down here at the bottom, as the rest of the West looks like it's still pretty much right there at 500 or just below, as the Sharks and Knights are the only two teams below 500, besides these first three. Then we have the Anaheim Royals, Minnesota Moose, Utah Buzz, Portland Pioneers, Denver Goblins, all sitting right there at 500. New Orleans Pandas, Dallas Wranglers, Sacramento Sting, Oklahoma City Bisons, and the Houston Predators are up there at the top. So all the teams from like the second team all the way down to just 3. So the last 3 are within 1 game of 500 or at 500. So the West is obviously very close through the first month. This is only a 29-game season. So if you've played 8 games, then you're like a little over a fourth of the way done with the season already. So I mean, you definitely want to. That just means every game's count. So we're going to look at the power rankings now. The Houston Predators sit at the top, as we can see that last week they played a whole 4 games. No games the week before that, but they went 3-1. Hilltoppers behind them, as NBA.com has the Cobras behind them, the Shift behind them, Bison, Flamingos, Pandas. We'll just scroll through the rest of these kind of quickly and see if you can find the team that you are most wanting to root for. As the Wolfpack are actually, this must not be updated because the Skylanders have a win now, but the Skylanders are down below at the bottom, as apparently NBA.com and 2K Sports disagree on who the top team is. 2K's got the Hilltoppers at the top, and obviously they have the Predators. As they've got the Cobras at 5, they have them at 3. So they have the Bison all the way down there at 7. So there's clearly no guarantee of who's the top. As Eric Bosnich, or Bonich, whatever the hell his name is, has to shift at number 1, and the Predators and the Hilltoppers behind them. So comment below who you think is the best team in the BSGL. Clearly the power rankings are kind of just guesses at this point. He's even got the Pandas in his top 5, and these teams, barely have their Pandas snuck into the top 10. One's got them at 7, one's got them at 5, one's got them at 10. Moving into the league leaders, we're going to check out all the league leaders. Obviously, points per game right now, it is Achille Antonov dropping a whopping 35.6 points per game. We'll probably just go through the top 10 in all these. Evan Stone right behind him with 31. Then Parker Puff, all at Lamar Outlaw. I guess that's why he's an all-star so far, because he's dropping 30 a game as well, along with Ivan Heinsohn. We have 5 dropping 30 or more a game. There's Midas Khan. He's got 29 a game. Hayden Oakley at 29. Wade Cage at 28. B.J. Riley at 28. And Doug White all at 28, as that rounds out your top 10. Offensive rebounds per game. We'll just fly through these real quick. There's an unfamiliar face in Alfred Houston and Chandler Cartwright and Doyle Woolidge, all who are getting pretty good offensive boards per game. Defensive boards, as I think we'll just whip through these real quick, as we'll just go into rebounds per game, as Antonov is at the top of this as well. Like I said, he was leading. He is still leading in all categories. He was going into that game against the Hilltoppers, and he still is. He's behind him is Francis. They're both averaging more than 20 rebounds per game, and Achilles almost averaging 25. He wasn't even supposed to be a big-time rebounder, but I guess, some things kind of develop on their own. Doug White averaging 19, along with Reggie George, DeJuan Jones, Akubano, Rob Duncan, Rich Mack, that won Rookie of the Month for the East, Hayden Oakley, and Alfred Houston all behind them. We'll have to keep an eye on Alfred Houston. I did not realize he was this good. Assists per game, still at the top is Achille Antonov. What an absolute animal. He is the only one averaging 11 assists per game. Kevin Ball and Kenny Dimes, who are supposed to be the 2 big-time passers, right up there with him at 10 each, along with Shelton and Odyssey Williams Strong, the point guard there for the Buzz. He's apparently been dishing it out pretty well. He's averaging 10, and apparently the Buzz are a pretty good passing team, as there's DeAndre Johnson, Will Trust, Evan Stone, Jerry Foster, who was not supposed to be a very good passer either, and Alonzo Zigaranovich, I think that's how I'm going to say his name, the 6'6" point guard, also averaging 8. And now we're going to look at steals. Steals at the top is Lou Fong, and then we have Fabian Perisic Gepi. I don't know why everybody's name has to be so weird. Lou Fong, the only one averaging above 3. And then Will Trust and Chuck Armstrong and that other third guy all averaging above 2.5. Then Akibano, Dwight Towers, and Scooter Maravich, and Nick Walker-Kimbrough, Lawrence Coleman, and Jeremy Roach all averaging at least 2, as then we go into Shelton, who is not quite averaging 2. Moving in now to blocks per game. Probably no surprise here, as it is John Francis, the absolute giant, averaging 3.8 blocks per game, as he has been sending shots back very heavily. As him, Vernon Farmer, there's Achille Antonov yet again, and Trent Beretta are all sending back more than 3.5 shots per game. As I guess Farmer's right at 3.5. Wow, he weighs 330 pounds. That's a big boy. And then we have Mustafadden Mula. Yep. This guy, Mustafadden, averaging 3.3. Willingham averaging 3.2. Rich Mack again at 3. Doug White just below. Lou Fung averaging almost 3. And Whiting Raymond at 2.8. Now looking at turnovers per game. Evan Stone leads the way with John Francis, Xander Myers, Owen Bradley, Achille Antonov, Cy Gilbert, Bates, Doug, Shelton, and Alan Smith all well above 3, with Evan Stone and John Francis being the only 2 above 4. Moving into field goals made. No surprises here. Pretty well the same as the as points per game as Stone's average actually in the most field goals. We're going to look at field goal percentage. It is Marion Bosch. And I'll slide through these real quick. Cage and White, both in there along with Mack. A couple names we haven't seen before, but there's Brian Williams, who's the captain in the West so far. Now moving into three-pointers made. Chuck and Stone, the only 2 averaging more than 4 three-pointers made per game. Ivan Henson Jr., Quindario Gallagher Jr., who I don't even think gets very minutes per game. And Antonov is down there, of course. He's been in every category so far. Are all down there. Three-pointers attempted per game. Stoner's averaging 11. Holy cow, he's the only one averaging above double digits. So we're going to look at three-point percentage. It is Admiral Barros, putting them up at 63.6%, along with, what is that, Meow Youngman, who's a center. That's nice numbers. Let's see if we can find any of our graded guys. We don't have any in the top 10. Oh well. Moving into free throw percentage, I was just about to say I guarantee we have a couple guys who haven't missed one yet. Wow, some of these guys have taken 6.5 free throws a game, 8.2 free throws a game. Excuse my yawn, and still have not missed one. Let's see, let's go into minutes we don't really care about. What about points allowed per game? Who's the worst defender? There's Achilles. There's the Achilles heel of Achilles. He's allowing 18 points per game. Somehow John Francis is allowing 17. Jolly Harper's in there. The one guy's name who I can never pronounce that's Manchangwana. That's what I'm going to go with. Xander Myers yet again, who we have not seen much of. And Midas Khan and Akabanu Shang all need to get more done on the defensive side. John Francis also, I guess these 2 are also averaging the most free throws attempted against them. Let's look at opponent field goal percentage. Rod Valentine cannot defend very well. He's allowing his opponents to shoot at 70%. So let's see who's got the worst. Some guys have, well, I guess these guys haven't even really played much. Plus minus per game. Doesn't look like, there's Foster. Foster and Shelton, the only 2 we know in the top 10. Total points is going to be a mess, I was about to say, because there's just been such a jumble in games played. So now we are going to go into player stats and just take a quick look at our supposed star for all of our teams. So we're going to start, I guess we can start right here with the Skyliners, who I'm already on. As John Francis averaging a nice 24 points per game, 21 rebounds. Obviously, he's doing pretty well. Not too bad for him at all. It just looks like his team, after that, it just goes really low. As they need more out of this man right here. Out of Dambrowskis. That's kind of hard to say. As he's 82 overall, but still only averaging 12.2 points a game. He's got to pick it up. Next team, Quentin Pope. He's been doing pretty well as well. We saw Gildreth Butler in that last highlight reel. He was killing it. But Quentin Pope, not too shabby at all. Shooting really well, hitting the 3 well. Just once again, just needs some help, I guess. Hayden Oakley has really been killing it. 29 points a game. I'm really yawning. Averaging 17 boards, 2.3 blocks. He's really getting it done. MJ Hart, their little point guard, has also been flying around the court. So Hayden's even shooting at 46% from three-point land. So here we have the Lamar pair of Shelton and Outlaw, averaging a more than 52 points per game as a whole, more than 53 that is. As Outlaw's really not doing much, but getting some shots up and maybe getting a steal per game. As Outlaw is averaging, or not Outlaw, jeez, I keep getting it mixed up. Shelton's averaging that nice triple-double per game, along with about 2 steals and blocks each. Next team, the Cobras, Evan Stone, averaging some nice assist numbers, obviously getting a lot of shots up, taking the majority of the shots, and putting up 31 points per game. Dyson's putting up nice points as well. Wade Cage, 29 points per game if you just round that up. He also looks like he needs some help, as his teammates doesn't have a man averaging 15 behind him. Woo. Next up, we're looking at the Indianapolis Shift. Is James Long, the point guard, is actually their leading scorer. But Jerry Foster pretty well leads in every other position. He's almost averaging a triple-double, as he has 8 assists. If he can get those numbers up a little bit, he might be averaging a triple-double on the season. So we see his nice blocks and steals number there. He's supposed to be defensive, and he's looking pretty nice on the defensive end so far, and he definitely has some help. They might be a real contender. Oh my gosh. The New Orleans Pandas? The New Orleans Pandas are next, I believe. I can't even remember where they're at. I think they're in New Orleans. As Midas Khan's got a little bit of help here with Alfred Houston. We saw his big-time rebounding numbers. He's averaging that nice double-double with more rebounds than anything. Maybe that's why Khan's only averaging 9, as Khan's also dishing the ball around really well and scoring a lot better than I expected him to, and shooting it pretty well, except from outside, so maybe they could be a nice threat. Doug White, shooting at 63%, is dropping 28 a game, and man, oh man, look at these scores. As Manchangwana, also averaging 23 a game. Freddie Figueroa having 17. Good numbers from all of them. Doug White's definitely got the help that he needs, as he's averaging 3 blocks and almost 20 boards. As now we move to the very much struggling Toronto Huskies, as Owen Bradley looks like he's got some help with Kenny Justice and Xander Raven, who are both averaging above 15, but he's only averaging 20 himself, which is probably the lowest we've seen so far. 10 rebounds is nice, 4 assists, but they are struggling to get it done, as we expect him to be really defensive, and he's just not really shown it so far, and he's shooting very poorly. As you can see there, so they need him to pick it up a little bit. As there's Ashton Dandridge. So there is 2 All-Stars on the Predators team. I did not realize that. As Ashton Dandridge is putting up 21 points a game and 10 rebounds. Good stuff from Dandridge, along with 1.3 in blocks and steals. That is really good stuff. Some help that Kevin Ball needs. As you can see that he's not even averaging 20 points a game. That's our new lowest. He's also averaging 10 assists and really sharing the ball around, and only 1.1 turnover as a starting point guard. So definitely good stuff from him, as along with Julius Snyder and Quindario Gallagher Jr. They're both averaging right around 14. Next to the very much struggling brigade, DeJuan Jones is definitely looking like he needs some help. Nobody even above 15, and then only 3 within double digits besides him. He's averaging that huge double-double, trying to get everything done, 2.8 blocks, but they just can't find a way to win games. He's not even shooting poorly either. B.J. Riley's kind of in the same boat. He's only got 1 guy averaging 15. Pitsnuggle's doing everything he can. Man, he's ugly. So he's averaging that nice double-double, but Riley's definitely going to need some help. He's grabbing 9 boards himself at a 6'5" shooting guard. So it will be interesting to see if he can turn their season around or not. Lester Bates is actually the leading scorer for the Bison, as he's been very up and down this season. He's had some games, let's just take a quick look. He's had some games where he's been all over it, and had some games where he hasn't been able to do anything. Can we see his last couple games by any chance? Here they are. Yeah, he went from 11 to 24 to 21, 35, 25, then 6. So he's very streaky, but averaging 20 nonetheless. As in Lu Feng, he's got 17, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Really good stuff from him on the defensive end, which is what we wanted him to be. He flies up and down the court, can't shoot very well, but you can see his overall has even gone up a little bit already. They all started off at 95, but he's gone up a little bit. And there's Dwight Towers, who I thought was going to be their number 2 option, but it's mostly been Bates, and then Dwight's been doing stuff at the defensive end. For the Moose, it's been all these front two guys between Gilbert and Farmers. You can see Gilbert's got 20 points a game. Farmers got 15. Both averaging a double-double. Gilbert trying to share the ball a little bit. He's even got some decent defensive stats for a guy that's supposed to be offensive. And he's been shooting the ball pretty well, not from outside, but definitely from the just 2-point range. Then we see Denzel Spears. He's definitely got some help, as he's got Cade Cunningham, Billy Shaw, and the sharpshooting R.J. Miller, maybe the son of Reggie. You can do what you want with that. And he's averaging 21, Cunningham with 18, Shaw with 17, Denzel also averaging nice 10 points a game and 2.2 blocks. That's what we like to see, but there's one of those teams that are just kind of struggling right now. And speaking of struggling, how about Xander Myers? Put up a pretty dominant performance in his first game. He even hit the only buzzer beater that we have seen so far, which was quite incredible. But they're just struggling. He's averaging definitely the lowest at 14.5. Nobody else even above 15. 12 boards, or 16 boards, which isn't bad, but not a whole lot on the defensive end. 1.3 blocks and a lot of turnovers for a big man. And not the best shooting percentage for a guy that's supposed to primarily be inside. But we will be interested to see if they can go ahead and turn it around, or if they're going to continue to struggle. For the White Whales, their leader Mason Boyd, he's fallen in overall a little bit, but still getting it done nonetheless. I know I didn't start everybody right at 95, but they were at least 94 or 3. I guess he might have been 3 and just fallen one more, but I mean, that doesn't look like it's been much of a problem for him. He's averaging 23.8, 6.8 boards, 5.8 assists, really like stat sheet stuff, and as Del Negro is their second leading scorer. But it's looking like he's going to need some help on the offensive end as well, but we will get into offensive, defensive stats after this. As another real struggling team, the Hustlers here, nobody even in averaging 20, but Babcock, Duncan, and Natchbar all averaging at least 15. Duncan's getting 17 boards a game, but not as much defensive as we want to see, and definitely not as much scoring. And honestly, a higher shooting percentage from him would be nice as well. For the Wolfpack, Alan Smith needs to do something more, as apparently he's just not been able to get it done. Shackelford's been pretty decent, but I mean, Alan Smith's been shooting well, a lot of turnovers, but that's what you can expect from a star. Almost a double-double, and a lot of, pretty good assist numbers for a guy that is not supposed to be a great passer. It didn't look like he set a 3 all season, but I don't know what's unmade. He's just going to need some help, I guess. The Enforcers, one of the few teams with the star not being the leading scorer, is Stephen Morris, is the leading scorer, averaging a double-double and 1.5 blocks. He might be all-star headed this year. As we go to Will Trust, who's got 24, and I did not put 61 badges on Stephen Morris there. I know a couple of you probably saw that and were wondering why Stephen Morris has 61 badges. Just the way I downloaded the roster, I guess. Will Trust with 24.5 points a game, 9.5 assists, and 2.5 steals. Very good numbers from the little point guard, who is shooting pretty well from all spots. Here's our reigning Rookie of the Month, and Trent Beretta, as this Bulldogs team is stacked with offense. Jolly Harper averaging 16.6, and then Armstrong and Beretta both averaging above 20. Lots of rebounds between the two of them, along with some defensive stats, as Beretta's averaging 3.6 blocks. They should be a lot better than what they are, but they just haven't found their way late in games in a couple. The best man on the best team, according to 2K Sports or NBA.com, whichever one had him or his team at the top of the power rankings, the 92 overall, Parker Puff, 31 points per game, 9.7 rebounds, 7.6 assists. We wanted him to be the triple-double machine that he is, and he has shown through so far. He is leading this team to victory constantly, and they are definitely a threat for the title. To the Royals, we have Kenny Dimes. They've been struggling a little bit, as Rich Mack and Kenny Dimes are pretty much having to do it all. A little help from Tyus Rogers, but these two have been really doing well. A double-double for Rich Mack with 17 boards, and Kenny Dimes averaging a triple-double most nights with 9.5 boards. And some good defensive numbers for him as well, but they, once again, just can't find a way to seem to win games. The Knights have been doing pretty well all season. Ivan Heinsohn, 30 points, 10 boards, 2.4 blocks. I think they're 3-4 at this point, as it just looks like they just, I don't know, maybe need some more defense or something, because they've got a couple good scorers here. And then we have Reggie George, 23-19. Once again, pretty much the story with all these guys is they just need more help. It's just a battle of who's the best. Who's the best of the best, I guess, at this point, is here he is. Kelly Antonov, up to this point, been an absolute dominant force. Maybe there's, I don't know what's been wrong with this team. he's had a lot of really streaky help. A lot of streaky players on his team, like Kanye Jordan and TJ Stackhouse have both been either way on or way off, it seems like. But they've got all the pieces. They've got their star, their help, and then their high flyer right here in Kenyon Cauley-Stein, who's been all over the place with the dunks. But then after that, we have the Cougars. Akibano Shang, 28 points a game, a lot more than I expected. He's been really killing it. They're another one of those teams that just can't seem to find wins. On to the Buzz. DeAndre Johnson, averaging nearly a triple-double. That's what we expected him to do. But he's another one of those guys that just can't seem to find a way to win. Brian Williams, the current captain in the West for the All-Star game, has been killing it all season. So he's not even averaging a triple-double, and really not great numbers compared to what else we've seen. But they're one of those. They've been on a losing streak here a little bit, but a little middle of the road team. As that brings us back to the Skyliners. So the last thing we're going to look at, we're going to take a real quick look at the points per game and all this good stuff. Looking at what team is allowing the most points and what team is scoring the most points. We see the Enforcers, the Shift, and the Titans. Flamingos, Cobras have all the top 10 offenses. So we're going to scroll down here to the bottom and see who's got to be the worst. So this is in the East. Whoops. So the Huskies, Wolfpack, Skyliners, Hustlers, and the Hilltoppers actually, these are the only two averaging below 100, as that's pretty bad. And then we go over here, and we got a lot more teams averaging less than 100. The Bison, the Brigade, and the Town Hawks all averaging less than 100. But clearly, defense wins games because the Bison are still pretty good despite scoring less than 100 points per game. So the Predators, Buzz, Blaze, Knights, and Wranglers all scoring at the top of the Western Conference. So we got points allowed per game. The Blaze and the Enforcers have the two worst defenses in the league, as the Blaze are allowing 115 points a game, the Sharks 111. A lot of teams averaging above 110. Or not a lot of teams, 105 for sure. Because we're still just a lot of bad defenses, I guess. As the Titans and Enforcers, there's the Titans' problem. It's defense. They can't get anything right on the defensive end. As the White Whales, Bulldogs, and Apollos and Huskies all are allowing more than 110 points a game. So now we look at point differential. The Shift, a great point differential, as we see all the teams with positive point differentials. Then we're going to go down to the bottom of the Eastern Conference as we see the Huskies all the way up to the Apollos there, with the Skyliners and Wolfpack have differentials of above 5. Go to the Western Conference, the Town Hawks really bad with a 10.5. Just a couple teams with an above 5. But then we go to the top, and some more teams with an above 5. That is all that I will show you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this recap video. If you enjoyed this recap, Week 6 or Week 7 highlights will be posted here pretty soon, I would assume. Not super soon, but sometime within the next week. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe if you did like, blah, blah, blah. We've already been through all that. See you guys on the next one. Goodbye.